And here's our 30-second break while we run our top of stream ad for our subscribers. Y'all are enjoying a bit of background noise.
Tonight's session is brought to you by Lilith, Mother of Monsters.
I love Lilith.
Why be blue when you can ahi Lilithu? Hello, 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 and welcome once again to Philadelphia by Night, a V5 game set in the city of brotherly love and fires. Good evening, living, dead, undecided. So today, we are going on a wild and crazy adventure with two of our favorite emissaries, Mr. Ian Farrow
Howdy.
and Mr. Sharkie Knox.
Hi.
So last session, you met a couple of the power players, the so-called new prince in charge of the airport area, the Bruja trio, who seems intent on taking some kind of power. There is still one major power player that you have yet to meet, but tonight, y'all have decided to go investigate what happened to Prince Failchild's child. So, we wake right up. Nobody has a gangrel start. Hunger levels are fairly even. We like it. So, what we have tonight is going to be a wild and crazy adventure with the guy who sets fires and the guy who can talk pretty good.
Just the intern.
Freaking interns.
I've only set one fire. That's only happened one time.
That's still setting a fire.
Fair. It was a necessary fire.
Yeah. I mean, if you say so. Anyway, so waking up the way you did with your hunger where it is, we'll start with Sharky. What's going through Sharky's head today?
Well, at this point, waking up in the morning or in the evening, really just being like, huh, this is not normal. I'm usually hungrier. Well, I'm not going to complain. That's his first thought. His second thought is, well, I had thought we were going to do, I had thought I hadn't really put much thought into the Childer situation because I figured it's Torrid or Ashton would sort that out. But so far, not heard anything from Ashton about any of the other roses. He's not really talked about any of the other roses who have come through. So he's just like, and then after the meeting with the old prince, he is a little bit on edge because if he has that many ghouls established in one location, that means he might have a lot more influence in a lot more places than we had thought. So he might be a lot more dug in and a lot more powerful than it looks. So he is Sharky's a little anxious with us being where we're at now, and having not quite as much influence. And with the whole his whole analysis into the Perkins and stuff just pulling up nothing, which is not a usual thing for Sharkie when it comes to analyzing economic records. He's in a bit of a state, a bit of a tizzy, as it were, a little bit flustered because he's not been outgamed in a while on that kind of stuff.
He didn't expect to be outplayed on that level by a Ventru?
No, because most of Ventru are not very good at what they do. Are not very good at what they do. So he's used to being better than the Ventru most of the time. Because they think they can just do things because they're Ventru most of the time. So he wasn't expecting there to be a problem.
So he's feeling a little antsy.
A little antsy, a lot of antsy, honestly.
That makes sense for Sharkie.
Don't it?
Mr. Pharaoh, you wake up in the evening to the bright and shiny, massive neon lights of the city. And they're flickering. What is on your mind tonight?
Yeah, he's kind of going over the events of previous nights and not surprised that it is likely Miss Perkins who is pulling the strings here at this point. Clan of Kings is difficult to dig out once they dig in. But his thoughts about the current situation are kind of eclipsed by the fact that he can feel that hunger is starting to rise. And if we're going to be here for any appreciable amount of time, he's going to have to go to work and find something suitable, someone suitable. Hunting is a long process, not a quick smash and grab.
Well, for some of us.
For those of us with rarefied tastes.
Indeed. The picky eaters.
Rarefied tastes.
I would like to point out that we can eat off of other kindred with little issue.
This is true, but it's awful.
You know what? That's fair.
Humans can stomach down baby food, but it's not great.
Comparing kindred to baby food. Heavens.
So, y'all are at the medical center where you have been granted temporary haven. And you can hear Dr. Ball kind of puttering about. He does not often make his way out into the wider city, but you can definitely hear him moving about the haven, as it were. Just kind of making his own nightly preparations. On the communal corkboard, you do happen to see that Club Eden is having a grand reopening this evening. Now, some of you, neither one of you have ever been to Club Eden, but Sharkie, you would be aware that this was a Toreador club before Fairchild was removed from the board and was part of that wonderful little present that you left the court the last time you were in the city. So they have finally finished reconstructing after the massive structure fire that almost took the entire building with it. And it seems tonight they are having a grand reopening. And with Ashton and Dr. Barca otherwise occupied. Seems like a great night for the Venture and the Gangrel to go out and paint the town red.
Hopefully not with fire.
I think that would be orange.
Again, that one wasn't me. That one was not my fault.
It was one time.
This is one time. That one specifically was not me. That one was Laurent, dressed as somebody else. But, never bringing him to a social function again.
Oh, but he's ever so much fun.
Yeah, he is, and that's the problem. But, Sharky looks at the board. Huh. I didn't expect. I guess the insurance money really did pay off for Club Eden. I guess they got that worked out. On reopening. Huh.
Was it a popular place?
According to Ashton, who talked about it non-stop when it was burned for about a week, yes, it was. Whether or not it's still going to be popular after a structure fire, well, that remains to be seen, especially without Fairchild here putting his backing behind it. But I wonder who's putting the money behind it.
Well, if it still belongs to a Rose, and the Rose knows anything about Ducard, it's probably worth following up on.
Probably. And more than likely, Ducard's... Yeah, it's probably Ducard's influence keeping it open. Or a rival faction of Roses. But I'd be surprised it would still be operating if that were the case, considering how aggressive the Bruja were towards the Roses.
We still hear Dr. Ball?
Yes, you can hear the soft sounds of him, glasses clinking, paper shuffling. He's just kind of sitting in his office doing some things, weird stuff. Yeah, he's still around.
Head down towards his office and rap on the door.
You will hear a kind of flurry of activity before a comical amount of locks disengage. And you'll see the familiar face of Dr. Ignatius Ball peer around the door. Yes?
Not to interrupt you, but question. You're very familiar with the area and couldn't help but notice that Club Eden, I believe it's called, has reopened.
Oh, yes.
My companion says it belonged to Fairchild, but Fairchild's gone? Any idea who it might have gone to now?
And he'll kind of slip out of the office. You'll see him wearing what can best be described as antiquated surgical attire, like the old white linen smock, the very thick rubber gloves as he kind of steps out, wipes his hands on the apron, closes the door behind him, peels off the gloves. Well, technically, the former prince was just the bankroll for that particular club. It was, on paper at least, owned by Miss Garcia Acosta. She is one of his retinue that remained in town. Her position offered a modicum of security.
I see. And what position would that have been?
For lack of a better term, she was friends with benefits with the prince.
Interesting. Acosta, you said.
Yes, Angelica Garcia Acosta. Though there has been whisperings that there's a new source of funds after the fire. A Samuel Trent. I've never seen him in person, but he just kind of shrugs his shoulders.
But again, I do want to thank you for your hospitality here and all of the help that you've given us.
Oh, of course, of course. I've noticed that you've made good friends with the Baron.
To some extent, I suppose.
Well, you're still living, so that has to say something.
I didn't realize his fuse was that short.
He is a member of the rabble, and they are well known for not suffering slights.
Well, I am well known for not giving them, so I suppose that's why I'm still alive, as you say.
Wise, wise. But is there anything else I might be able to do for you? Any?
No, I don't want to keep you from your work. I was just curious about this place. It seems to have a neon sign over it. Kind of look towards the windows. Do you have any way to black those out?
Yes. No, we can. I'll have someone take care of the this whole floor. Apologies, we're still in the midst of many different things.
Oh, no. Apologies are not necessary. Thank you. Make my way back to Sharkie.
It's at this point on the corkboard, Sharky is red stringing. He's like put he's put on the corkboard. He's put the club that we're going to be investigating today, and he's put 3 different potential backers there. Just a blank thing that just says Perkins with a question mark, Ducard, and one that just says third party.
So who's the third party?
Not sure. Could be one of the barons. Could be, but that's doubtful. If it's a rose that's being backed, unless she's an abstract, it's probably something Camarilla related. But as far as I was aware, Perkins and Ducard were the only Camarilla organizers in the area. So someone independent, maybe?
I thought you might have given some thought to our discussion. Take one of his index cards and write fourth party on it. Tack it to his board. What about yourself?
Well, I would not be against being a power player here, but I have a feeling getting involved directly with the politics of the area, with the influence that I have, I don't foresee it going well at the moment. But as far as backing economically, that's something I can do. But as of right now, I'm not the one funding this. Yet. But
But you're still interested, right?
it depends. It depends on how successful it seems to be at this grand opening. If it does well, it could be a profitable
No,
venture.
no, not the club,
Oh,
the valley.
yes. Taking the valley for myself, I do not foresee strong diplomatic ties within the area if I did that. I could keep Philadelphia off of our backs, probably. But any of the other Khemria groups, any Anarch groups, be hard to do so as an independent faction. So I'd have to tie myself to one of them, and I could do that. But I'm not fond of my chances with the way that things stand now. If we're able to get a foothold, I may change my mind, but at least for now, I'm hedging my bets that we may need to back somebody, at least for the time being.
There's not going to be anyone that gives you a foothold, or a handhold, or a leg up.
We'll have to take it.
If you're really interested in it, yes.
That's the thing. No one's going to give me anything. But there's a chance, as we're backing somebody, that we can take it as we move. I'm not saying we betray them, per se, but we already know that the Bruja Baron was not a fan of us taking land after said fact. So I would not want to do so. I don't think the Gangrel Baron's going to be very happy with it either. But the Gangrel is more likely to accept strength, and if we show we're strong enough and we take something, they're more than likely going to let us keep it unless they feel it is imperative to knock us off it for the time. We don't have to move quickly.
Their weaknesses lie in the fact that their title is Baron. That's a position that is constantly under threat. Power comes from the people in that case. You win the people, you win the power.
I've never been so good with people.
You don't have to be good with them to win them over. You just have to know what they want. Here, we know what the Baron wants. We've got a good idea of what Ducard wants. We don't know what Perkins wants. We don't know what their people want.
Not yet, anyways.
If you want to knock the heads down a few pegs, we need to find out what the people want.
And we'll probably figure that out at Eden.
Let's go do some market research.
Yes, let's.
So how you gonna get there?
Oh, I'll
Are you
drive.
calling your driver, Sharky? Are you going by yourself?
Well, Sharky would, if he'd actually ask Ian, do you want to be taken in a limousine, or would you like to prefer to drive a little bit more undercover?
I'm curious what you have in mind at this point.
Well, SUVs are common, but those are also attract attention. I have pretty much unlimited resources when it comes to things. I'm certain I can get a Corvega or something, something small.
Unlimited resources.
Not quite. It's when compared to a human, basically unlimited.
We are basically unlimited compared to humans.
The
You can
amount
choose the method of transportation. If you would like me to drive, I can drive. If you would rather your driver drive, that's fine with me as well.
it's a club. It's the opening night of a club. We might as well go in style.
If you insist, although I think that's Ashton rubbing off on you.
Unfortunately so. He's been when you're in a coterie with a ostentious toreador, it happens. But if you don't think going in style is a good idea,
No, not at all. It's not what I said. I'm curious what your style is, though.
he's gonna call up his thin blood. And he's gonna be like, limousine, if you would.
And you will hear that familiar kind of like noise of like, yeah, okay, I'll get right on it. Just kind of like, uh-huh. And before too long, your chosen vehicle is out front of the medical center prominently and waiting for the two of you.
It also gives us some time that in case either of us needs to hunt, it's more attractive. But we'll speak of this in the car.
Certainly.
As they get in, he signals to the driver to start heading his way, sends him the coordinates that we're doing. Ian, I don't believe I've asked you as of yet. And forgive me if this is forward, but your clan has rarefied tastes. Is there something I should be looking out for to make certain that you have it?
I'm well covered.
All right. Let me know if you do need anything.
Hunting for me is personal matter.
All right. Fair enough. My adoptive sire would often have me collect vessels for him, so I am not above such things. That's why I offer. But
No,
if you
I
are,
do appreciate the offer. I do. It's just my methods are a little foreign to others, and I have a very particular way I like to go about things.
you do seem to be quite the particular person, as a general rule.
It has not been an easy upbringing.
It never is for blue bloods, is it?
I don't really consider myself one. Not in the traditional sense.
So we have a blue blood who doesn't consider himself a blue blood, and a gangrel who doesn't consider themselves a gangrel.
Suppose that's why I actually do get along with you to some extent. I find, honestly, most of your family insufferable.
So do I. There is one that I like, but she is, I think, going a bit mad. So, but I only really like her because she has forced me to. If I said I didn't like her, I think she might just kill me.
Sounds complicated.
I'm sure you'll meet her soon enough. Naomi's a staple in the area. She will pop up on occasion and threaten my life briefly and then disappear into the wind again.
I imagine she's never tried to make good on these threats.
She's gotten very close. There have been times I have annoyed her to such an extent that I do believe that she has actually considered doing so. But she's an elder, and I'm a neonate. I'm not even an Ansel yet. So in terms of the elders' opinions, so as far as they're concerned, I am just a expendable pawn, more or less. So, but nonetheless, she's a good friend, regardless.
Why do you call yourself a pawn?
I don't believe myself to be a pawn.
But you use the words. And words are software. Words program the mind. And the more you say it, the more you believe it, whether you think you do or not.
It's also important to recognize how those of greater age often see the people who are younger than them.
That doesn't make them right.
Oh no, not at all.
Age is not a signifier of power. It is an indicator, perhaps, but not a signifier.
That is true. Granted, I would not like to be on the business end of her claws. Regardless. Um, and while there are likely things that I can do to remove that threat, I like her too much to do so, quite honestly.
I find that in our case, it's better not to remove threats, but to assuage them. Everyone we meet, we will probably meet again, regardless of how our encounter with each other turns out. Leaving on a note of cooperation is always better than leaving on a note of sours or violence.
I couldn't agree more. Unfortunately, there are sometimes times where violence speaks louder than words, especially with my family. So,
Mm.
Sharky, do you still have that weird thing Maury gave you?
weird thing Maury gave me. Probably. I can't remember. Let me check my notes. New computer, so I have to see if my notes are still on here. R- refresh my memory, if you would.
Just before Jed and Maury were pulled into
Mhm. We're
the
pulled
beckoning,
the beckoning. Yeah.
Maury
Uh,
gave you a lock of her hair and her history.
yeah. Actually, yeah, he would. He'd actually probably be keeping it in his jacket pocket. Um, he pulls it out and he sort of plays with it.
Memories.
Memories. From one who is also not a gangrel. Or, well, was a gangrel, but
But
not a
not.
gangrel. Yes.
Just for your own clarification, Sharky, you would know that these These are called song chords,
Mm.
and they are the physical manifestation of a gangrel's personal history dating back oftentimes to their grandsires.
These are memories in and of themselves. These are, by definition, they're her. Mori was another ally, the one that I won't be seeing again, but
Sorry
these,
for your loss.
I mean, the beckoning comes for all the elders at some point.
Ian, what this would look like visually is a fairly long length of black hair with white streaks. Bones have been braided into it, as have vulture feathers.
There is an alternative to that, and it is much more final than the beckoning. So I wouldn't say that you won't see them again.
It is unlikely.
But not impossible.
No, certainly not. Hopefully that they... I don't want to say regain their senses. That makes it sound like they've gone mad, but hopefully herself and Jedediah are return to us at some point. I will await the day, but I would not be surprised if it does not come.
Why do you wait? This is the second thing you wait for.
My life taught me patience. You make the right investments, you make the right choices, you wait, and eventually you rake in the rewards. You wait and you watch, and you act when the iron is hot. You don't, if the iron needs to be heated, you throw some coals in, but you don't throw too many to overheat the forge. You wait and you watch, and you make moves when it is necessary. That's how I build stability.
You're an investor then.
For the most part, yes.
You understand the value of being early.
Yes.
You understand the value of making your opportunities.
Yes. There are times when you do make your own opportunities. That's why in the analogy you throw the coals. But you have to know when to move and when to watch. When to pull, when to push. It's like poker. That's what I think of it as anyway.
Don't get stuck holding a hand that is a winning one and refusing to play. That's all I'm saying.
Do you think we're holding a winning hand?
I don't know. I don't know enough about what us is. I don't know enough about what you or, well, anyone else here is capable of. I'm just the intern.
So, you're not gonna tell him about all those times she hucked you out of a tree? Then?
It has kind of stretched beyond that point, but
Delightful woman. Terrifying.
I'll tell you, there are times to make your own opportunities. There are times you have to leap when you don't know what's going to happen. I was thrown out of a tree because people believed that I could fly. This woman pushed me out of a tree. I thought to my death. She turned out to be correct. I can fly. As a horrific man bat thing, but I can fly. My blood is apparently the blood of its Xavier apparently runs deeper than I thought. But that there are times when you're correct. We don't know our own abilities, even when we're to that point, and we may be stuck without holding a winning hand, or holding a winning hand when we could have made a stronger play. That's I'm quite risk averse in many ways. I may not sound that way, but or may not look that way based on how aggressive I can be, but I know what my skills are. And my abilities to impact much violence is one of those. It's often why I do what I do.
But you're more than just violence. Hell, to me, you sound just as much a philosopher as any.
Well, I've never been one for books myself, but so I wouldn't call myself a philosopher. But thank you.
Perhaps warrior poet, then.
That I'd be willing to accept.
And the car slowly pulls up in front of the club's door, all ready for y'all to make your grand entrance. So, what is it you do?
Well, it seems we've arrived.
After
And Sharky opens the door. Um, he will, after he opens the door, he will open it and allow Ian to step out, like he's actually holding it before he closes it behind him, if Ian would accept the gesture.
Absolutely.
So he closes it behind him. They look. How big is the line?
It is still early in the night. Doors have just opened. So the line is moving steadily. It would not take you very long to get into the club at all.
Okay. There was some nerves there about we get. it's just crowded
Wall to wall.
Yeah. Sharky's not going to cut to the front of the line, because of the fact that that just looks bad, and it's going to draw too much attention. Generally, we're here to look, to see, to watch for a little bit, do a little bit of research. So cutting to the front of the line, making a big scene. Not what he's going to do. So he's going to get in the line and just wait. He's not going to try to get the bouncer to let us in faster than that.
Ian will stick with Sharky. Let him lead the way.
So
I like the dynamic y'all have going. Walking into the club is like walking into a sea of red and green. While a lot of things look like a fairly standard nightclub aesthetic, the walls, the pillars, every piece of architecture that might accidentally be glimpsed is completely covered in greenery. Vines, flowers. I would like you to give me a wits and awareness, please.
wits and awareness.
Yeah.
That's not a bad pull for Sharky.
You can see stuff. You just can't control yourself and long enough to not do stuff.
2. That
2
ain't
is
bad.
Woo!
Oh, that's the wrong chat.
It's
Oopsie.
cool. It's fine. I can see it all. We'll fix it in post. So with twos,
We will not fix
you
it in
can't
post.
help. So with twos, you do notice that primarily, other than the decorative vines, there are 2 types of plants, roses and apple trees that seem to be growing indoors.
interesting aesthetic.
Hmm.
Well, the club is called Eden.
Hmm. Uh-oh.
What's uh-oh?
I've just frozen. I did not realize it.
Oh, that's okay. No problem.
We'll fix it in
At
post.
least it's a good expression.
Yeah. There it goes. Okay. So, okay. So, Sharky, let's see. Chandler is thinking in the occult side of things. I don't know if Sharky has enough occult to really think of this. As it ties to like the Christian side of things for Eden with the apple trees. But
Hey, Sharky, what's your occult?
a 1.
So, yes, you would be familiar with the largest religious denomination in the United States, and at least part of that lore.
And he's from Kentucky, so yeah, he'd know some about it at the very least.
Yeah. Like biblical lore, you remember that stuff.
Interesting. That's actually modeled after Eden. Huh.
Uh, maybe.
In
Apple was potentially a mistranslation.
well, stylistically, anyways.
Certainly.
The idea.
Certainly.
It's if I mean I'm certain we could find a theologian who could make arguments about the fruit of the tree, yada yada yada.
Yes, the tree of good and evil does not exist anymore. It is never made it outside of the garden. For there to be apple trees would mean that those trees would have come from a single tree that, well, never ended up in the land of Nod.
If you believe that a Garden of Eden existed at all, really, but
You don't.
I mean, What evidence have we seen?
You don't buy into the accepted reasons for our existence.
I mean, I don't discount them, but I wouldn't say it makes the most sense to me. It's what I'll say. I mean, parasites exist everywhere in nature. So why would we assume that just big powerful parasites haven't appeared in nature as well?
I suppose it makes more sense than us being descended from a cursed greengrocer.
Exactly. It's the it there's some things I do believe in, and there's a part of me that believes aspects of it, but also at the same time, like, come on now. It there's got some things that would be there are myths and there's truth behind the myths, but every word's probably not exactly correct. In my
Until
thought
it
process.
is.
I mean, quite honestly, it could be possible, but I doubt heavily that there's some kind of magical deity that made us all. Typically, there
So you're not a religious man then.
no, well, not in the standard sense anyway.
Not in a
But
standard sense. You have non-standard religion.
I do believe in some of the threats that are out there, the potential of them. Because I've seen what elders can do.
But no devils, no demons.
No, I think that's too far. I know what we can do.
You don't think exorcisms are real?
Hmm. I mean, I could believe in ghosts, maybe, but I don't know about exorcisms because demons are a whole another 9 yards. I don't. If I didn't kill one with my own claws, I wouldn't think that lupines exist either. But you know how that is.
Buddy, you didn't just kill one.
I killed a BSD.
You ate him.
Yeah, but I'm not bringing that up.
That is not proper nightclub discussion.
No, not at all. It's loud enough here that we can kind of talk, but you know,
The
I
the the urge to play the Blade nightclub music is strong.
When did this happen?
recently.
Oh,
Yeah, like not long ago at all, February.
Yeah, it was a couple months ago. They ripped me to shreds, not gonna lie. But I did kill one of them. I started tending to the wounded. The rest of my family took off after him. Uh, took him apart. We, as a group, especially with some of our older members there, we did some good hunting for some wolves. That's what I'll say. I really didn't do much. I only really harmed one of them, and they really did do a number on me.
Wolves are difficult prey.
If you can keep lying, boy, I'm gonna make you roll for it.
I mean, Sharky legitimately believes, because I took down one of them. The other gangrel took down a lot more. So Sharky legitimately believes that he was kind of just in the background. Taking down one is still a big deal. Like, especially considering how it happened and how he was basically on his own fighting that thing. However,
You know what? You know what? You're right. I'll give it to you.
yeah. Dude, the other ones did kill like 3 apiece. So it was like Sharky took one down and then he turned around and they were gone. Like, but nonetheless, it was not a big fight. Not a big fight on my end. So we better find out who's running this place. Did you figure out?
No,
Did you figure that out?
no. Don't look for them. Just make yourself obvious. They'll come to you. You're a new face in potentially what is their domain. They're going to be curious. Let them.
Hmm.
Power does not travel.
There is there is a shift in the music. The almost forgettable kind of instrumental nightclub sounds begin to wane as you hear the DJ kind of tap tap on the mic and announce that there is a special guest for the evening here at Club Eden for your viewing pleasure. If you would turn your eyes to the main stage, on loan from Guilty Pleasures in Philadelphia is Adelard Moreau, a tall, well-built, dark-haired man takes the stage, clad in what can best be described as the male version of a Playboy bunny costume. Like if Chippendale Dancer met Playboy Bunny. As the music begins to build again and the man begins going through his routine. Sharky, can you please give for me a wits and awareness, please?
I was about to say that looks very familiar to the form that he had taken when we came here. Cause I know who that is out of character. But is this important enough for Sharky to blood surge?
You can if you want. You can always blood surge.
Well, that depends. You know who you think it is. You have previously said you're not going to go out in public with him again.
So it's 2 successes there.
Two is enough. You recognize that face, but more specifically, you recognize the black rose pin that rests on the tie that looks like it is fashion taped to his chest. There is only one rose that you know of with that face and that very specific pin.
Sharky kind of turns. He looks at the bartender. He's like, I need a drink. Just the strongest of whatever you have. please.
And the bartender gives you a nod, turns, begins fixing a drink for you.
Does that actually work for you?
No, but I can. But I can smell it and remember.
Uh, uh, uh. A woman approaches the bartender dressed in a red gown. She is very dark haired, astoundingly gorgeous, but you know what Toreador isn't. Condition friendly, Jacques.
The man just turns, gives a nod, and reaches under the bar for different bottles.
It's pomegranate juice,
Pomegranate. Helps me.
if anyone asks.
Of course. I won't. To who do I owe the pleasure?
Oh, we've met, which is why I'm kind of wondering why you're here.
You know each other.
Briefly introduced. And then, of course, there was a structural fire.
Okay. Okay. Who do I recognize her?
If you recognize her at all, it's probably just as a member of Fairchild's retinue.
I see. So we must have met when we came to visit uh Mr. Fairchild before.
Yes. Like
I
I
wonder if
said, briefly. So hopefully you're not planning any more mischief?
I was not involved in that. I'll have you know. However, if I will let you know, no, I'm not planning any more mischief tonight.
Good. In that case, Angelica. And she's just going to offer her hand like this. Like not a handshake.
Mwah. Sharky. Sharky Knox.
Yes, I recall. And your accompaniment?
I believe my intern here can introduce themselves.
Yes, assistant. You can. Intern is fine. You can call me Ian if you would prefer.
If you insist.
So, I was very happy to meet you for the second time. Though I will say, I was taken aback by the splendor of Fairchild the first time, so I'm sorry that I did not recognize you immediately, Miss Angelica.
He is a big blowhard, isn't he?
He was quite,
Yes,
quite
yes, it
the.
was past tense.
He was quite the individual. But nonetheless, um, I'm very excited to see this club reopen, considering I had heard such good things from Mr. Mr. Vanguard, a good friend of mine. Before it had closed, he was so upset.
Well, we did manage some reconstruction. Maybe not quite as perfect as it was before, but there has been reconstruction.
Quite honestly, I would have loved to have seen it before, considering how beautiful it is now. If this is imperfect, I could not imagine perfection.
You are blowing that smoke so freaking hard.
But
Why?
well, first off, Tori flattery and Toreador go together like cheese and wine. They work together quite well. So, and then secondly, as well, on top of that, it is beautiful in here. Like especially by Sharky standards. Like yeah, he has places that are luxury, but it's like, you know, business offices, stuff like that. They've got fine chairs, fine boardrooms, stuff like that, but they're not beautiful by design. They're not supposed to be. They're luxury but not beautiful. And a place like this is this is beautiful by Sharky standards. He would believe that. Whether or not she believes he's telling the truth, that's a different story. Um,
So can I help you with anything?
we had arrived to take a look. It's the opening night. See what one of the local clubs was offering, especially considering from what I had heard, this place was originally being backed by Fairchild, so I was surprised to see it reopen.
Oh, yes, we have a new financial backer.
And interesting. And who would that be?
Why, Mr. Trent, of course.
That's a new name, first that I've heard. But interesting. I'm glad to hear that there's still some wealth in the city now that Fairchild has left. That deserves it.
Oh, another cousin.
Well, your family is known for its ability to create wealth, so one of the things that you guys are known for the ability to do, or to at least have it.
Eh. Born to attract attention, more like.
It's a skill to be able to monetize that.
At any rate, would you care for something to drink, Ian?
Oh, no, I'm quite all right. I was actually, once you're done with my friend here, I have a few questions just about your operations, mostly about who your arborist is.
Huh, absolutely. I can, Hey, Jacques, can you bring those to the VIP area? Thanks.
Yes,
And she's just gonna walk toward what appears to be just little tables situated.
Kind of nudge Sharky.
Sharky begins to move in that direction. He's gonna, as he's moving, as our favorite bunny boy, Mr. Adelard, he's gonna do a whistle as he's moving over, just as he's moving over, just to attract attention. See if he catches a look from Adelard.
You do not see any look from Adelard. That man is a consummate professional. He is in the process of working the pole as though they were always one single unit.
Understandable. It's probably not the only person who's whistling at him either. So, Sharky moves over to the VIP area, and along with Ian as they're moving, sort of looks over, looks back. He's also gonna scan the room for like security cameras, stuff like that. Um, See if there's like recording stuff around.
Oh, there absolutely is. This is a nightclub.
In the VIP area specifically.
Most of the cameras that you can see are pointing away conveniently from the VIP area. There are several near the main stage. Many of them are centered upon the main body of the club.
Impressive. So we're gonna follow, I guess.
Mm.
Is Ian also following?
Of course.
And
Soon as
she's
Sharky
just
does.
going to stand to one side to let the gentleman get in. I'm so sorry. I have to be able to hop up. Do you mind terribly if I sit on the outside?
Oh, no, absolutely. Please.
You may, of course, sit on the outside. You have a business to run. I wouldn't stop you from doing that.
Well, it's always polite. So you had questions, Ian the
I
intern.
do. I do. You're arborist.
Uh-huh.
I am quite impressed with your ability to have green growth in here. If you could, if any way, pass along some contact information or something of some sort.
Well, believe it or not, on top of business acumen, I do have a bit of a green thumb.
So you are the arborist.
I am.
Well, I'm very impressed.
Hmm.
Your services wouldn't be purchasable, would they?
On occasion, is it for a rival night scene?
Oh, no, 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 no. This would be something personal.
I hear there's a very good, if hard to get in touch with, arborist actually, closer to Philadelphia.
Really?
She's a sweetheart. She can make plants do just about anything.
Hmm. I will have to look them up next time I'm out that way. You have a name?
Yes, her name is Druwentia.
And how's that spelled?
Druentia.
Ah, I see. I see.
Druwentia Dragonoff.
Hmm.
And I suppose that is just as it sounds.
Yes.
Oh,
Honestly, this is more of a social call than anything else. So if we are keeping you, please don't let us do that.
I will admit I am curious about seeing you again. And she's gonna look over at Sharky.
oh. I merely, I have a bit of a wandering streak, and I liked Lehigh Valley while I was here, and so I have chosen, for as of now, to stick around, take a few looks, see some things around here, maybe invest in some things, see what things are going on as it stands, because there's quite a few interesting ventures out here.
Ah, especially with the downfall of the prince.
It has made the region more interesting, I'll say, but I'm typically a fan of stability. So,
Alas, we're unlikely to see that for quite a while. Uh, there he is. There he is. Hold on. Mr. Trent, we have some visitors, and one of them is interested in the money side of our operations.
You see a tall, well dressed man turn as he seems to be scouting through the VIP area before he makes his way over. He stands perching just his fingertips on the edge of the table, still standing outside of the seating area. Angelica. And he looks between you, Sharky, you, Ian, before settling back on Sharky. Had I known we had such esteemed guests, I would have made more of a welcoming gesture. Welcome
Now,
to Club
you be
Eden,
nice.
gentlemen.
Be nice.
Thank you.
Always, mi amor.
It's a beautiful establishment.
Thank you. We are still in the process of renovations, but she's coming along nicely.
As I mentioned, it's quite beautiful. Far more so than most of the other places I've seen in this city. And I can only imagine once renovations are done, it might be even more beautiful than it was before.
And how is our dear Wendy?
And
Still
this
painting.
this draws a sharp eye from the well-dressed man as well. He's kind of looking directly at you, Sharky.
Kind of turn quizzically to Sharky.
I haven't spoken to her in a while. Not since our not since I last saw her after the Super Bowl. We had spent some time together then. I haven't really seen her much since then. I have to assume she's still painting. I don't get around to see her very much. I
A shame.
It is. She's quite the talented artist. Um, I would say one of the most skilled painters I've ever met, personally. But only from perspective of talent. I've not met any other painters in my time quite so often. It's been a long time, in fact, since I've seen somebody who paints like she does.
Well, if you do happen across her, do tell her how much we miss her here in the garden.
Of course, I will be certain to make certain to let her know that you miss her. I don't find myself traveling that way too often. Um, Roses and all that. It's not a common place for me to be.
Oh, Samuel, darling, that's Adelard's set, and if he doesn't get his payment almost directly, he will have a fit. You can take care of our guests while I take care of the diva?
Of course. Gentlemen, if you would be so kind as to follow me, we have more private accommodations where we can have these kinds of discussions.
Of course. So, Sharky stands up. This way, Mr. Farrell?
I nod my head, stand up, thinking we've now moved twice. Told Sharky we shouldn't move.
Always beware of that secondary location. And
It's fine. They're going to a tertiary location.
and Samuel will lead you through a bank of curtains at the rear of the VIP section and through a door into what look to be more austere halls that lead to, the back office, the cash room, things like that. The less glamorous side of running a club. And he leads you into an office. It's fairly well appointed, rather comfortable looking. It is not the height of luxury, but it is not, the rundown, what you would expect from somebody who is just putting a club back together. And he gestures. There are wingback chairs, chaise lounges, things that you can sit and be comfortable on while he makes his way to the large desk that dominates the center of the room. You had some interest in the business side of things. We're always excited to have new investors.
Kind of have
Well-
a seat off to the side. Let Sharky sit across the desk. Take out a notebook and pen and start writing.
Which Sharky is. He's going to sit across the desk from him. I am indeed interested in becoming an investor. I've never been quite in the nightlife scene myself, personally, but I'm very interested in the business side of things, especially with as much potential as I see this club having. It's the most popular club here in the Lehigh Valley, but as well, it has a lot of potential from what I can see with between the interior design. I can see it being quite appealing, especially with the mortals.
And he just kind of holds up a finger for a moment while he opens a drawer, and he pulls out what looks to be a fairly thick manila envelope, and handing it over the desk to you. Inside, you would find what looks to be an investor's prospectus. There is projected income. There is records on what what you would give an investor to show that this is a sound investment to make, that this club is capable of making money, what you can expect for your investment, the various tiers, things of that nature. And included is both plans to expand to Philadelphia, Harrisburg, and Reading.
This is quite the ambitious expansion plan.
Well, my mentor had always had a keen eye for aggressive expansion. If we dominate the market early enough, we can expect some rather substantial returns.
True. I will say that as aggressive as an expansion plan as this is, you could see conflict brewing, but that is only potential. There are groups already well rooted in Philadelphia, so I doubt it will be as that specific route will be difficult for you, but getting a foothold in the other locations, that is very doable and quick. Um, I could foresee though you being able to get a foothold in Philadelphia proper.
You would also see from the the prospectus that this is a nightclub that sells a very specific kind of image. One that you would notice is both lacking in Philadelphia and is something that sets this club apart from the rest. Most clubs sell a fantasy. They sell a fantasy of luxury, of sensuality, of a lifestyle that most people cannot attain in their day to day. And it is all wrapped up in this very a lot of the language that is used is the same that one would find in the gardening sectors, cultivating images, growing brand recognition.
Mm. And so they're selling something that is completely different as far as that goes. It's a fantasy of nature, which is something that is not often attainable.
It is sold as a garden of earthly delights.
You've got some back in here. You have some impressive choices here, is what I'll say. The question is, Are you willing to accept the debt that it will take in order to be able to expand into some of those regions?
Samuel smiles. I don't think debt will be of issue. After all, there are quite a few individuals placed within these cities that are ready to take on that debt so that we can move as needed. And if money were an issue, it's not any longer. I thankfully have found myself with a bit of a windfall in the wake of my father's passing.
I'm not talking about physical debt.
Oh, well, if we're talking about boons, as I said, I have people that are more than capable of absorbing those debts.
So you've already got quite the investor portfolio.
It's modest for what it is, but I would love to see it grow.
Tell me, outside of the club, what do your ambitions look like?
Oh, my ambitions. I simply wish to be a man that lives comfortably. Be able to move where I please. Exist how I choose. I despise being locked beneath another. It's why I have grown such a expansive network.
Then I would suppose your windfall has been quite fortuitous for you then.
Oh, exceedingly. Exceedingly. I had worried that my father was going to squander what he had built. Thankfully, he managed to be fastidious enough that I am comfortable for the time being.
I think, from what I'm seeing here, can Sharky do a quick analysis of this, like as he's looking over it, to try to see if there's any like weak points in the plan that he should be aware of, that he might be able to offer some insight into,
Go
potentially
ahead.
to.
Go ahead and give me an intelligence and finance.
If you wouldn't mind, take a look over, hold my hand out for the prospectus.
Oh, yeah, you can add a help die from Ian.
And then I'm going to blood surge on this one.
Okay.
Bow. 4 successes.
Not bad.
I'm gonna spend
Do
a
you want
willpower
to?
though.
Okay.
6 successes.
I like that. That is a good roll. So, while you don't find any glaring holes, there are some places where a different strategy, maybe a little bit more conservative in the expansion, might help shore up their bases before. If you how you would do it is break up the expansion into phases. Set up another club, get it established in the market, then expand to another location instead of expanding all of these locations at once. Other than that, things on paper look really sound.
And that may be the actual plan. It would make sense to sell to investors moving quickly because investors like to see things moving fast. Potentially.
It looks more like a difference of opinion and a difference of style than necessary weak points.
Hmm. I'm interested. I will say here, the only concern that I would have is that it looks like your roots, you're not planting enough roots. If a tree's going to grow, it's got to have time to grow. Time, water. Have you thought about potentially splitting it up into phases?
This draws a curious look from the man, as though he's actually weighing and measuring what it is you have to say. Oh, I suppose that slower growth would give time for the roots to take before we move on. I'll have to discuss things with my accountant and see how best to move forward.
I'd like to offer a I'd like to help you out with that to a degree. This portfolio is impressive. And if you've got the windfall you have, you probably don't need my money per se. You can probably do much on your own. But
No, but your expertise may prove invaluable.
how much experience have you got working in stock markets?
I don't particularly have that much in the way of experience where it comes to the stock markets.
Generally, or finance as a whole. If you want somebody who may not be your accountant, but somebody who can aid you in that, I'd be more than willing to do so. And it could be a very profitable partnership in the long run, I think.
I see. Well, perhaps if you give me a couple nights to think things over, if you have a business card I could reach out to you with.
Sharky pulls it out. He always has business cards. He has a couple on a regular basis. He puts one down at the table. That's got my contact info. It is a leave me a message. I usually don't pick up on the first ring, but
And he'll likewise retrieve a card, place it down next to yours. It simply reads Samuel Trent Entertainment LLC, and some very basic contact information. And in the meantime, if you think of anything else, please feel free to reach out. It is about that time that you hear two distinct voices, masculine and feminine, screaming at the top of their lungs, engaged in some sort of shouting match out in the hall. Samuel will stand, smooth himself out. If you gentlemen will excuse me, it seems my work is never truly done. You do know the way out, yes?
As long as it's the way we came in.
Of course. And he briskly moves out of the room and down the hallway towards the commotion.
look for cameras real quick.
Go ahead and give me a wits and awareness.
Two.
Do you want to spend a will?
Yeah. 4.
Okay. You do not see any noticeable cameras in this room.
Okay, so no noticeable cameras. And
You look around and there is nothing that jumps out at you as a camera. However, as you are looking around the room, you do find on the bookshelf what looks to be an old leather book bound in black leather with silver foil embossing. The letters down the spine read ROTDM.
ROTD. Well, oh well, not for us. Not we need to do. Just checking for things to make certain that if we did decide to break back in here at any point, we can do so without needing to be afraid of being there. So he's gonna look to Ian. Hey, should we see ourselves out?
Well, Sharky is looking for cameras and scouring the room. Is there any sort of legal pad or note paper on Trent's desk?
Oh, there absolutely is. Yes, there are several different notepads, folders, various paperwork.
I'm going to grab a blank sheet of paper, pen, and scribble down. I like what's in the prospectus. I'm more interested in what's not in the prospectus. And then leave my number at the bottom of it. Specifically, I'm going to write the names of the two barons, Ducard and Perkins, with question marks next to each of them. Slide that into the manila envelope, set it on the table. We should
Okay.
go.
As you exit the room, the shouting match that you had heard kind of vaguely comes into a sharper clarity.
You know, you cannot touch customers here. We are not that hellhole. There are standards here.
Hellhole, I will have you know, he runs a classy establishment.
Yeah, but here, I told you, rule number 1 is not touching the clientele.
Ducard, dear, will you please explain to this strumpet that the clientele touched me first? We had a transaction, a deal.
Oh, Strumpet? Strumpet. Would you like to see Strumpet?
It is at this time that you would both notice that Adelard, Angelica, Samuel, and Ducard are all standing in the hallway, but like half in, half out of an office at the end of the hall.
Just walking in the Sharkie.
Are y'all walking away from this altercation or towards this altercation? Because you can turn and walk the other direction out of the club. Like, you do not have to get involved in this whatsoever.
Sharky's gonna look at Ian, look back at the altercation, look at Ian.
I can't remember which way was out, and I'm going to walk towards their argument.
I don't think I can. I don't think I remember which way was either. I think I'm gonna follow.
This isn't where I parked my car. So, are you both attempting to look confused and kind of stumble into this altercation?
Oh, I'm not looking confused. I'm just walking down the hall and just going to stand there and eavesdrop in plain sight.
Okay. Okay. I need to make at least a roll. Sharky, are you attempting to look confused, or are you following Ian's lead and kind of just standing there like, what you guys doing?
He's gonna be standing there, because how he's gonna be is like, I wanted to make certain that I had a conversation with my dear friend Adelard, before I left. Um, it once if they recognize him, so he's not gonna be too, he's not gonna be too he's gonna be pretty nonchalant about it too.
You tell your manager that if he ever sends you here again, I will give you a taste of training like he got in the monastery.
There is this string of French curses under Adelard's breath before he spins on a heel, notices the two of you, throws his arms open, and goes, Jamie! And he runs up to you, gives you the European two kisses on, one kiss on each cheek, embraces you warmly, and leans into your ear. Please get me the fuck out of here before I do something stupid.
Adelard, how lovely it is to see you again! It's been too long! I'm sorry, am I interrupting anything?
And he'll look back over his shoulder. You can tell that the three he just departed from are not happy. Ducard has an obvious scowl on his face. Angelica, if looks could kill, the three of you would drop dead. Not that she's directing that anger at the two of you, but just in general, she has that look about her that merely laying eyes on her would likely be your end.
Well, tell me, Adelard, do you have transportation back to Philadelphia?
Unfortunately, management has been a bit lax in that, and there is this tight smile on his face that tells you like something happened. He had transportation, no longer does.
Well, you did perform your
Say
set.
that again.
And he'll toss a look over to Angelica. I do apologize, madam. It would seem my set has overexhausted me and robbed me of my good senses. I should make my leave, lest I make a further fool of myself.
A good idea.
Allow me to take him. I'll make certain that he minds his business for the time. We'll keep supervisional eye on him, as he is, as it does sound like from what I was able to hear that Adelard may have overstepped his bounds. So we will make certain that he keeps himself to himself.
Very well. Sharky, right? Or would you prefer Jamie?
Sharky is usually what my friends call me, so you may call me Sharky.
A quick retreat may be in everybody's best interest. You have my card.
I do. It was wonderful meeting you. I'm so sorry. I did want to make certain that dearest Adelard was taken care of. He's a good friend of mine, so I wanted to say hello to him, but I'll make certain that he gets home.
There
Yes.
is silence from the other two. But there is a look from Ducard that you know a get the fuck out when you see one.
Ta-ta!
I'll catch up with you, Sharky.
And he is basically, he's got a hand on Adelard's shoulder, but there is definitely like some nails that are digging in, like we are going. You are
And we're walking.
we are walking. You are not allowed to turn around. You
So
are-
as your coterie mate and his friend exit, you find yourself alone in the hallway with these three other individuals who they don't seem to regard you like you're there, but like they don't seem to care that you're there for the time being. They're not trying to usher you towards the door. But you do catch kind of an aside from Samuel, from Mr. Trent, that, you know, regarding you as the intern, which Ducard acknowledges, and, you know, oh yes, we've met, kind of pleasantries, but before too long, they just kind of glance over at you again, like, okay, you're still here. Interesting.
My associate wanted to talk personal business. I am not about talking personal business. Holt, Tycho. That is the business I would like to talk.
And Ducard steps further into the office along with Angelica and Trent, and they kind of usher you into this other office. This office is far more well appointed than the last. Ducard takes a seat behind the desk. Angelica splays herself out on one of the chaise lounges. Trent perches nervously on the edge of on the one of the leading edges of the desk, and they do not appear hostile. They appear interested in what you have to say. And Ducard will steeple his fingers before spreading his hands out. Please, go on.
Careful with that, sir. You give yourself away. Keep your hands down at all times.
I shall endeavor to keep that in mind, and you'll see his hands kind of lower beneath the desk as though he has them in his lap.
Never let anyone in the room know that you have the power. I don't know which one of you is bankrolling who. Steepling your fingers gives me the idea that you are the one who calls the shots. There's a reason I am Sharky's assistant.
A keen eye as always. I expect nothing less from the true talent.
Holt and Tycho are a problem for you, yes?
The Anarchs as a whole are a problem for us, yes. Thankfully, Tycho has been keeping to herself. Holt, however, has been causing more than his fair share of problems.
I absolutely can see how that would happen. Mr. Trent, I left you a note. You can disregard that, but you may keep my number. And if you find any of this educational or elucidating, feel free to use it.
And Samuel will nod.
All of you are well aware of the state of this valley.
Yes, and the sooner we can get things back under control, the better. I have found my forces spread regrettably thin.
There is, at least from what I have seen, 3 who are vying for control. And 1 who appears to be controlling from shadows.
It'll be that Ventru you tried to place your trust in working from the shadows.
There is a very clear look of, like, shut the fuck up from Ducard. Like, it is a split second, blink and you miss it, accompanied with a just kind of a shut the fuck up.
Of the threats to Praxis for you, Perkins would be the greatest. I'm certain you're aware of this. I'm certain you've already thought this through. I'm certain that is why you are keeping your potentially greatest enemy as close as possible. The airport is incredible, but it is not your work.
It serves its purpose, and until we have a proper Elysium again, it will have to make do. I
It's costing
assume
you a
you
considerable amount of blood to keep it going. And Vitae, I imagine, is in short supply.
And Ducard, you've dealt with princes and barons, and you have seen powerful men and women come and go in your own life. This man is stretched thin. And while he will not say it outright, you can tell that you've hit the nail on the head. Vitae is in short supply. His grasp on the domain is tenuous at best. He finds himself beset on all sides by those who would seek to claim what little he has remaining. But he is also a man who still thinks himself in charge. This is his domain, and he will do what he must to preserve it. He stands in stark contrast to other princes that could be named, those who are far more accustomed to the cost of leadership. This man is, by your eye, a pretender at best.
Let's talk a bit of politics. Pragmatist politics. Who is it you support?
And he'll look between the other 2 in the room. To be perfectly honest with you, this domain would be far easier to hold were I to cede a bit of control to Baron Tycho. She is as loath as I am to admit it, capable of controlling the riverfront. If some balance were to be struck and she were to be appeased, I could focus my attentions on eliminating Holt and securing what is left of the domain.
And then you can make goo goo eyes at his harem.
This kind of draws a criminal amount of side eye from Ducard before he settles his attention back on you, Ian.
Appeasement never works. Let's talk even more pragmatically. What is the difference between a prince and a baron?
A baron is a glorified thug. They hold what they can through a might makes right system. A prince, if the Ventru are to be believed, possesses the divine right of kings. They are ordained to lead.
But you are no king. That is not an insult. That just means you are not of that family. But there is no reason that you cannot lead. Talent and skill make up for far more than divine right.
And he'll nod to that. It certainly seems as though you've struck a chord with him. A good one.
You are holding this domain together as best you can. And you are doing it in the name of an organization that is not supporting you. In fact, it is an organization that is leaving you, for lack of a better term, sir, out to dry.
Unfortunately, thanks to the wars in neighboring domains, the Camarilla has found its resources stretched thin, and smaller domains such as this are often left to fend for themselves. Such is the way of things.
Are you a man of ambition, sir?
Ambition, yes, tempered with sensibility. My predecessor thought that he could expand beyond the valley. I labor under no such delusions. I simply wish to stabilize the valley, bring it back to a time of peace and prosperity.
And here's where we get as practical as possible. The strength of a baron is in its people, not in their strength, their physical or their prowess of the blood. Given everything that you've been through, given everything that you've seen, given everything that this domain knows that you've been through, declare yourself independent. Welcome them.
This draws interesting looks from the other three in the room. Before Ducard leans forward on an elbow, his fist under his chin. Break from the Camarilla. Interesting.
What have they done for you?
Go ahead and give me a charisma and persuasion, please.
Can you use manipulation here?
You know what? I'll allow it. Oh,
I don't like that. Let's try that.
oh. Okay.
I will slam my fist onto the desk and my voice will raise. What have they done for you other than leave you here to twist in the wind and suffer for their sins?
I like this one. Can we keep it?
So for your messy, I am going to give you the dominance compulsion. Until you have asserted dominance over the scene, you will be at a 2 dice penalty, which, don't worry, you're already well on your way to fulfilling that compulsion. When you slam your fist down, Ducard, you can. It is almost like he flinches before he leans back and just looks you dead in the eye. You can tell this is a man who is accustomed to venture decorum, even though he proclaims himself to be a rose. You make a fair point, sir.
They leave you and your family and your people to be systematically strangled, put under siege, and choked out by the very thing that they are supposed to be helping you against. Sure, there are problems in neighboring domains, but I am certain you've at least contacted them for assistance. And what has been forthcoming? Nothing. How long has this gone on? Will you give them another year? 5? A decade?
And Ducard, he just kind of starts nodding like, yeah, what am I going to do? Give them another year? 5? A decade? 100 years? What am I supposed to give? Like, he definitely feels like he's grokking what you're laying down.
That feeling there, sir, that feeling that you have right now, that is what Holt's people need to see. That is what Tycho's people need to see. You need to fan that flame, turn those embers into a raging fire. Look at your history and where they have left you.
And he'll turn and he'll look at Samuel. Put the word out. Go. We break from the Camarilla tonight. And Trent makes for the door. Like, he is making for the door like he is running through hell in gasoline-soaked shorts. And he'll look over at Angelica before looking back at you. I have preparations to make. If it is not too much to ask, I would like to make them in private.
Of course.
You've given me much to think on, and I appreciate your counsel.
You can bring that strength. You just need to believe in yourself and in the message. Not only that, though, make them believe in the message. And if I know anything about your family, you can make others believe in your message.
I'm not sure if I'm making the face correctly, but there is just this look on Angelica's face as she looks at Ducard. It is the look of, what did I tell you? I told you. I didn't want to say it, but
I told you, didn't I tell you? What did I tell you? But yeah, you have successfully satisfied your dominance compulsion. You have taken charge of the situation. You have swayed opinion. You have effectively laid your dignitas on the table, and it is unassailable at this moment. So you can take heart in knowing that you have swayed hearts and minds this evening.
I'll give him a bow. Bow to
He
Angelica
will-
as well.
He will return a deferential nod
Make my way out.
before. So you're able to make your way out to the limousine where Sharkie and Adelard are waiting. But go ahead.
so we are going to put a slight pin because I'm sure there's been an interesting conversation between Adelard and Senor Sharkie.
So before Ian makes his way out and enters the limousine, we are going to kind of go back in time a little bit and get to where Adelard and Sharkie get to the limousine. Adelard kind of throws himself across the bench seat in the back of the limousine, and looks over at Sharkie. That went surprisingly well.
Think you're on mute.
Well, you didn't set anything on fire this time. And please don't tell me the only reason you didn't do it is because I saved you.
Fire? I have never once set anything on fire.
Sharky just stares.
I'm not even gonna make you roll. Like, oh, this boy lying through his teeth. Like, he is. It's the Yelena Belikova. Like, I did not break anything. I am too much of a professional.
You are incredibly charming, Adelard. However, this is... When we walk into diplomacy, I expected for diplomacy not to have to potentially stop yourself from getting blood hunted out of a domain.
If we're being fair, I had no idea the two of you were coming out tonight. I would have prepared a special set if I had.
I thought you were supposed to be professional.
I am a professional. Professional whore.
Isn't that the reason why you're in this mess?
No, the reason I'm in this mess is because I don't know how to keep my mouth shut or my hands to myself.
So, you had a time with a customer? Is that what I gathered?
He paid me for my services. I serviced him.
Understandable. Well, thankfully, Ian stayed behind. I'm certain he's probably undermining whatever they're doing right now in some way, shape, or form. He's got away with words. So, nonetheless, I'm certain they're doing something. But why were you here?
Why am I anywhere? Work is work. And besides, I wanted to see just how bad things were down here.
Was it everything that it was cracked up to be?
Oh, it is a fucking mess.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
And he'll just give you the golf claps.
The only problem is our mission is now to fix it. So That's what we're having to do.
And his face just kind of scrunches up. Fix?
Or at least make it no longer a threat to Philadelphia at large.
Fine. I can stay out of the way if that's what you prefer.
Oh no, I'd much prefer you continue to do things like this. Primarily because your anger, the anger that you prompted, probably was enough for things to actually get done tonight. It meant that I wasn't able to get much done, but I'm certain Ian is capitalizing on those emotions that have been built up right now.
And he'll kind of glance out the window back towards the club before looking at you. By the way, who is your, are you two...
No.
Oh, so he's available.
You can certainly attempt. I don't know how successful you will be.
And he just grins before mockingly pushing up his chest, his noticeably bare chest with, just the costume tie hanging down the middle.
Are you actually planning on going back to Philadelphia?
I do have to get back, unfortunately. I have work to do.
Responsibilities?
Yes, they've made me the whip, and now I have duties. They've even sponsored my own coterie. Can you believe it?
Oh, who gave you that responsibility?
Wendy said it would be good for me. Teach me a bit of responsibility. Thankfully, I don't have to shadow. Ugh. Awful work.
Was this one of Wendy's moments where she was more
Present? Yes.
oh, so then she thought this one through.
You would be surprised how much she thinks through. It is about this time, as the witty repartee is back and forth, that Ian, you make it back out to the limousine.
And to slide in, shut the door. Well,
So, what did you manage to accomplish?
I started a war. Perkins should stick her head out sooner or later.
Fantastic. I knew leaving you alone was a good idea.
I figure there's no other way we're going to get to her. She's not going to show herself until
No.
things start to get really bad.
No, and her accountant is good enough. I can't actually force her out. She's dug too many foxholes.
A war, and you were worried I was going to set a fire.
Well, yes, we don't want the war on us. We need them to fight the war. You don't need to be a combatant.
Ducard has renounced the Camarilla.
Oh,
Well,
darling, get driving quickly.
yeah, yep. You can hear the tires peeling the second you give that command, and the partition between the back of the limousine and the front of the limousine rolls up almost as quickly, and you are off into the night.
You got them to renounce the Camarilla?
It wouldn't be the first time, honestly, but yes. The towers left them to twist for how long now? A year? What are they going to do?
It's a good point. The only real concern is that proposes a problem. We cannot back Ducard any longer. It's if he's independent of the Camarilla, he's also independent of its borders and laws. He could. The Anarchs at least know when a fight is available. He'll still think himself a prince, independent as it is, and he may attempt an invasion of Philadelphia. We can't let that happen.
All barons think themselves princes of their own small domains. Ducard has no idea what it takes to run a barony. He will speak the words, but he doesn't know the right passion. And it will take him a while to learn that passion.
You think he will flounder?
In the beginning, he'll make a few missteps, but he'll correct them quickly. He's a rose.
Do you think Perkins will continue to aid him at this point, or do you think Perkins is going to turn on him?
Either way, we win, because she has to show her hand.
She has to make moves now. She can't hide in the shadows. Good play.
Ian, go ahead and just for giggles and ha-has, give me wits and politics, if you wouldn't mind. I would also say if the pool is bigger, you can give me an intelligence in politics.
That is larger, yeah.
Yeah, I thought about it because you've clearly been thinking this through.
Two.
Okay.
Well, let me reroll on that. Okay. Yeah,
All right. Just the two?
Yep.
Okay. You know your family well enough. Even if you do not truck with their usual politics, you have kind of separated and insulated yourself from that. You still received training. You still know how things operate, and she's almost certain to turn on Ducard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is practically a foregone conclusion. The question remains whether he has enough backing on his own, or if the moment she finds out, you're going to have yet another dead prince on your hands.
Relay this to Sharkie. Either way, it's one less problem for us.
We'll need to move. We'll need
Potentially
to move.
two.
We'll need to move back to Card immediately.
Why?
Simple. We don't want this conflict with Perkins to end quickly. We need her to reveal her hand, and we need her to waste assets doing so.
She will waste assets.
Oh, she absolutely will. Yeah,
that airport is hers, and she is going to have to dig him out of it. It's designed for no one to be dug out of it, and yet she loaned it to him. She will have to waste assets. Perhaps even control of the airport, which I thought you might want.
Yes, we can. Yes. The point I'm trying to make is I'd like to see Ducard, if not win, at least cause Perkins to waste more assets than not. That would allow.
He won't be able to control the Anarchs long enough. He'll say the right words. He'll recover from those missteps. They will eventually follow him. But he won't be able to keep it up. Like you said, he will want to be a prince, not a baron. Our choices are Holt or Tycho. We were already told it shouldn't be a rose. And I'll be damned if it gets to be a king.
There is kind of a brightening for a moment from Adelard. Tycho? Tycho's in town?
How do you know Tycho?
Oh, we go so far back. Spent a lot of wonderful nights at the monastery. Very honorable woman.
Hold on. The monastery?
Well, certainly a monastery.
No. I have been aware of this before. She's from that monastery.
I mean, we palled around quite a bit, but one could say we grew up in the same house.
Oh, that's concerning. Oh, that's so concerning.
Oh, it's fine. We don't play with those sort anymore. But Baron, interesting. She has always had an eye for power. Lovely woman. You simply must meet her. Maybe bring me and Naomi along if you can wrangle her out of whatever pit she's hiding in.
The question is, will Naomi eat me if we're trying to wrangle her?
If she wakes up hungry, she might, but I'm sure we can provide a little bit of snackies for her so that she's not too peckish.
I'll grab a homeless person when I bring it to her. When I bring them to her. Okay. Lovely. So she's from that monastery.
She was.
We're in. I can't believe Holt might be our best option.
And as you move through the night, Adelard will reach up and wrap his fingers on the partition. You can let me out here. And the cart glides over to the street corner. The door opens. Adelard lets himself out. The door closes.
Before it closes,
Oh.
it was a pleasure meeting you.
The pleasure's all mine. And he'll offer a wink before closing the door and sashaying off into the night, leaving the two of you once again alone to discuss. Ian, though, Sharkie does seem concerned about some things.
So, what's this about a monastery?
Well, first off, Adelard is also with the Toreador named Laurent. I don't know how he does it. I've seen him change his face. I'm assuming that same person. It's been a long night already, considering the whole thing. That's not common knowledge, by the by. Unless you've seen him change like I have. Secondly, have you ever heard of the Black Monastery?
I don't know, have I?
Do you have any dots in occult?
I do.
Or
2.
okay, go ahead and give me an intelligence and occult, or you can give me an intelligence and politics if you have the kindred specialty.
Okay. Three successes.
You have, in fact, heard of the Black Monastery, though you have heard of it in whispers and rumors. It was a place that churned out a lot of Sabbat back in the day. It was run by Rasputin, the Rasputin, allegedly. Most of this is couched in rumor and supposition, but you have heard the stories that the Black Monastery was once a Sabbat stronghold back in Europe, and is responsible for cranking out a lot of the Sabbat movers and shakers that find themselves still active in these modern nights. Allegedly.
Yes, I have, and you're concerned about it. Why?
I have reason to believe. Look, it's no big secret that I am not exactly the most fond of the tower, nor of its stringent rules, nor am I a fond ally of such. However, I have been. The monastery is a place that I avoided while I was spending my time in New York, even while I was a member of the groups that would have been integrated and such. It is my belief, based on the images and things that has been shown to me about dearest Laurent, that the path that he is on is one that does not lend itself very well to stability. If he, as she would, as he would say, played around with her, it's likely she's on a similar path. Or even if she is not, it still means that we need to be careful because she has leanings in that direction towards the Sabaton. That's not something that I personally would like to see developed in this area either. At this point in time, considering our mission was to stabilize the region for the Camarilla and make certain that the Camarilla was that enemies were put in the area that would not be threats. If she is a member of the Black Monastery or was trained in the Black Monastery, there is a good chance that she is violently anti-Camarilla, and that's something that we absolutely do not want to tolerate.
Why?
Because we were sent here to prevent a war, not start one.
No, we were sent here to stabilize a region. And sometimes a war is necessary to stabilize a region. Sometimes what is cold must be turned hot. Coals must be made to be thrown into the forge. You want to wait and see. You want to side with the tower. I was told no such thing. I wasn't told to stabilize this region for the tower. I was told to stabilize this region. Whether that is a baron in control, or the tower in control, or someone wholly independent, what doesn't matter as long as they can control it.
True, I suppose. The subtext, though, was to prevent an invasion of Philadelphia. And I would rather not see a new baron strike out at Philadelphia, even if it can be cut down.
If that were the subtext, then the idea would be to keep this place in chaos so that no one could stage an invasion. I think you may have misread the subtext.
Perhaps.
My read of the situation may be different. But I do think that anyone choosing to invade that city is going to find themselves in a world of pain.
It is a city run by warriors at this point. So, you're right.
Are we not all warriors at some point or another?
We are. But soldiers, there are soldiers who are recently off fighting a war. They have not stabilized in Philadelphia, and so perhaps You're right. Perhaps the goal is to stabilize the region, to give them another war to fight. As soon as we're done here, likely whatever conflicts that they're currently resolving will be settled, and then they have something else to point towards.
There is always a distraction. There is always another war to fight. There is always us being used as cat's paws. We are not making the choices here. Those choices were made. We are enacting someone else's will. The only way we're going to find out whose is to see this through. There's a reason I was asking you if you wanted control of this area. Because when all is said and done here, we might have to cut off the actual head of the snake. And that might not be any of these four.
And we might need
Sharky,
to
this is starting to sound a little familiar. This is certainly no Anarch talk.
I really should introduce you to my adoptive sire. I think you would get along.
Perhaps.
You... Very odd independent. Very odd rhetoric. I can't say I disagree. But I think you're right. And I think it's time for us to, once we meet with Baron Tycho, I think I should begin rallying forces to attempt to look towards the airport. I think we both should. What, I haven't asked you as of yet, what assets do you have? Maintain.
Little. I have the clothes on my back, my car. And a history.
And a history. Surprising. I would have expected a skilled mind as yours to have capitalized on that at some point.
Unfortunately, I died.
Unfortunately. But yet, you live.
Very hard to kill. Permanently.
It is about this time that the limo glides back up to the medical center. The limousine parks in the adjacent parking garage, and lets you two filter out into the evening. We're going to get some final thoughts before we set about our preparations, and then we're going to go ahead and close out our session. So we're going to start with Mr. Farrow. Ian, how are you? Where's Ian's head at tonight?
Perkins is too dangerous. And there's only a couple different ways to be able to strike at her if she's not going to show herself. She
fair.
needs to have her allies taken away or turned against her, or we need to find out how she feeds. Those are the only two ways to really strike at her.
Understandable.
And Ian will never let, if he has ever an option, the Ivory Tower hold any domain.
That's fair. That's fair. They simply can't be trusted. And Sharky. What's going through Sharky's mind right now? How's Sharky feeling?
Sharky's impressed. Sharky's never really been the one who's actually been in the lead. He's always been a follower in the past. And he still feels like he is now. When Ian's actually let to do his own thing. But he's watching things as they're unfolding, and he's seeing what Ian is managing to sort of push and pull and move around, and he's seeing a lot of opportunity at this point in time. He's seeing investment. Still wants that airport, especially now that he knows how the airport is. But he's looking at everything. He's watching everything unfold, and he thinks now that there's a strong chance that with Sharky, Ian, Ashton, and Dr. Beck's expertise, we might actually be able to pull something off here, especially cutting down Perkins. That's going to be the easy part. Who's backing Perkins? Who's pulling the strings on Perkins? That's the next question. But at least as of right now, as Sharky sees it, there's definitely the ability to stabilize the region and potentially significant gains for the rest of us as well.
Who is backing Perkins indeed? As the camera pans away from the medical center, we focus in tightly on a penthouse apartment somewhere outside of the Lehigh Valley. Somewhere far enough away that you wonder how they could possibly have a connection to the Lehigh Valley at all. Amanda Perkins sits in a chair, circled by an older man. The jet black cornicello that hangs from his neck gleams in the moonlight. He places both hands on her shoulders as he stands behind her. You've done well, child. And it is so good that we have departed New York so that you can spread your wings and fly. There's a soft smile from the woman. Thank you, sire. I could have never done it without your help. And it is there that we will close our session. We're going to take a moment. We're going to go around the table. We're going to introduce our players, who you are, where you can be found, if you can be found. And then we're going to get everything closed out. So we are going to... Go ahead.
So we're just going to start this really easy, and I'm going to go from what my screen shows from left to right. So, Sharky, what's happening, buddy? Who is you?
Hi, I'm Kingdom 905 on most socials. Also Chandler, you'll hear me be called as well. I am in a lot of places and nowhere all at once. You may see me on a Discord server. You probably won't see me on TikTok because I'm never on there anymore. I don't post anything. Those are really the two places where you can find me most of the time. But sometimes I post on Blue Sky too, but I've posted like twice in like the last year that I've been on there. But you can find me on those places typically. I'm not really out a lot. I don't do a ton, but I sometimes do streams like this and all those sorts of things. Pass it on over to Mr. Ian.
Yeah, I'm Kyrie42, Oblio, potentially. You can find me mostly here on Philly. This is where I try to hang out a little bit and play games and have a good time. And recommend you watch all of it. It's awesome.
You're on mute, my darling fellow storyteller.
Yes, indeed, I am. I am Einar. You can find me at Einar_TTRPG. I am the lead storyteller here for Philly by Night. I also assistant storytell for some of the other tables. You can find me most prominently on the New Guard streams right here on Philly by Night. Or you might see me engaging in other projects here and there, maybe a little bit on TikTok, who knows. And lastly, but not leastly, our wonderful storyteller for the evening.
Hello, if you don't recognize me by now, you haven't been watching the show very long. I am G'day FX. I am one of the lead storytellers here at Philly by Night, and primarily this season, I am running the Emissaries table. You can find me wherever I want you to find me at G'day FX. Most of the time that G'day FX is going to have an underscore, so G'day underscore FX, except for the tube of you and where the skies are blue, in which case it's G'day FX all mushed together without the underscore. And remember, just because we play monsters on the internets does not mean we cannot be the light in somebody else's world.